I'm Myke Shrews,
And I'm Tivis.
and you're listening to
The Munster Cast.
episode 61. Welcome back, everybody, to the Munster Cast, the podcast where we watch and talk about the Munsters. I am, of course, your host, Myke Shrews, here with my co-host and friend, Tivis. Tivis, please tell the people in the Munster verse, how are you doing? Tivis, how are you doing?
I'm a little hungry.
I'm a little energetic. If you can't tell, I have some energy. Yeah. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. Real quick, before we dive into the episode for today, guys, you can find the Munster Cast on all social media platforms. That is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all via the Munster Cast. You can also find us on YouTube, where you can watch our pretty ugly faces at youtube.com/TheMunsterCast. Why is my thing not moving here? Uh-oh. All right. You can also go on over to www.TheMunsterCast.com, and you can check out all of our great stuff over there. We have videos, blogs, audio. I think you can even access our Twitter from there, and all that fun stuff. You can also access our merch store, or you can just go to TheMunsterCast.com/merch and grab an awesome tee, neither of which me and Tivis are wearing today. So, with that said, I mean, you can always go over there and just get a merch shirt. Anyways, you can also email us at TheMunsterCast@outlook.com. That is TheMunsterCast@outlook.com. There you can email us all your questions, concerns, policies, arguments, lawsuits, Pampers commercials, anything you want, Munster related. And you can also let us know your Munster stories, guys, over there, and tell us why you love the Munsters so much, and or want to try and get onto the show, talk about your Munster love, your history of the Munsters or Universal Monsters, things like that.
And don't forget, there is a microphone on our website if you want to leave us a voice message.
Yes. Leave us a voice message. We'll play it right on the podcast for you. If you want, please let us know at the end of the message or at the very beginning if you would like this to be played on the podcast. There is also a little wallet or tip cup or coffee jar or something like that on the website. You can give us a little tip if you want to do that. But if not, Tivis, what can they do?
You could go to our Patreon, which is basically just a tip jar in itself. But if you do that and you join our wolf tier, what the fuck is it called?
It is the Lester's next big thingy.
That one. You can get access to our Discord where you can watch these episodes along with us. Myke will upload them on there. We can advance. There will not be a new episode this week because next week we have an interview special episode.
Yes, we have a special guest next week, guys, which we will get into at the end of the show. We'll just remind everyone. So no episode going up this Munster Monday, but every other episode has been uploaded because we are uploading them as we watch. All right. And you can also leave us an awesome, totally bodacious review on Apple Podcasts or your podcast service of choice, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah. And this is the last week. We will remind you, Rondo Award voting ends this weekend. So get your vote in for the Munsters movie or write in us for the podcast choice.
What? The last week, guys, you have like 6 days. It is midnight on April 23rd that voting ends. I don't remember what time zone it is. You would have to definitely look on the website, but midnight, April 23rd, all votes need to be in. for the Rondo Award. Again, like Tivis said, the Munster movie by Rob Zombie. You can write us in for your podcast of choice if you guys really like us or just want to, push the Munsters up somewhere else. Anything helps, guys. We would love to see all of this stuff come through, and whether we win or not, or whether the Munsters wins or not, we all win, because this is an award for freaking classical monsters, or classical horror movies, I should say. So we all win regardless, except Tivis, because he's not really a big horror fan, but
hey,
we all win.
That's all I care.
What was that? Sorry, you cut out on my headphones.
Get love. That's all I care.
Yes, and we have some sad news, unfortunately, with the Munster Love 2. Came out in a recent interview that, unfortunately, Rob Zombie said that he has no future plans to do another Munsters project at the moment. It was kind of the way it's phrased, because I read the entire interview instead of just taking the sound bites. We didn't post about it or anything like that, like a bunch of other Munster places have so far. Some of you guys out there, even the Munster fans that have posted about it, and because it felt like he was saying that he's not ready to come back to it yet, but he's not opposed to it later on in the future, because he likes to do sequels, he says. So, I mean, okay. that makes just me
giving
feel
it time
like,
to breathe.
Right. So we'll see what happens with it. Yeah, we'll see. If not, maybe someone else will get the reins and we get another iteration of the Munsters, and so on.
Or they bring back the same cast. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Same one, just different director, stuff like that. Yeah. All right. With that, guys, I got nothing else.
What's this episode called, Mike?
This episode is called "A Hero Ain't Nothing But a Stereo." A hero ain't nothing but a stereo, which aired January 28th, 1989.
I got super worried because I copy and paste my notes just to keep the same format, and I had it still said "say ah" at first. I was like, oh.
All right.
So your synopsis?
My synopsis for this, again, of course, because I didn't write it, and I tried to cheat this week too. I typed into AI, so I'm obsessed with AI recently.
Oh, Jesus.
I typed into AI to write me a damn synopsis for this episode, and I wrote in the episode name, the episode title, what show, what year the show, everything, and it gave me a synopsis for an episode that doesn't exist. It like just wrote up its own fucking episode. Like it was just like, oh yeah, this is a thing about, grandpa creates a something or another. I was like, what? And then Marilyn is trying to just, I was like, what is going on? Yeah. AI is trying to take over my world. As Tivis has learned recently. Anyways, so ain't nothing but a stereo. In a world of the Munsters today, Herman saves a young boy from being crushed by a tree and is called and declared a hero. Then the news gets a hold of it, of course. And Herman is offered something that has to do with cereal. Chaos will ensue. Let's dive into this.
Okay. I thought we were going into an epic tale there for a second, and then it just ended.
Died.
So yes,
it's a Marvel movie.
A hero. Well, that was a lackluster end. They usually put some kind of giant beam into the sky. A hero ain't nothing but a cereal. Season 1, episode 12, 82 of the overall Munsters shows. This aired January 28th, 1989. We are in 89 now. It was written by Steve.
Yes, people don't remember the last episode we had was over a month ago for the show air dates.
Mm-hmm.
It was like December 12th, I think, was
Yeah,
the
they
last
took
episode.
their little break.
Yeah.
It was written by Steve Baum and Neil Allen Levy. Now, so this is the only episode that Steve wrote for this series, but he's got quite a few under his belt. He's got 2 episodes of Rags to Riches, The Young Riders, The Sentinel, The Adventures of Sinbad. So Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. He's got 3 episodes of that. So, quite a career. As for Alan, well, we have much to talk about with Alan. Nope, okay. That's not a writer. He's the formatter. I clicked the wrong person.
Tivis.
Neil is still a writer. I am totally prepared. Okay.
You got it? You got it? Or do we need to?
I got it. This is his only episode of Munsters Today.
Are you sure? Do you want this week off, dude? You want the week off? It's okay. We can take the week off. Tivis wants the week off, people. I think we're going to take the week off.
So,
I'm making a break.
This is the 2nd episode we've recorded today. We've took a little break in between, but yeah, this is draining. Dealing with Myke. I'm joking, man. It's always a pleasure. It's just long day, yard work and all that. But Rags to Riches, he worked on pretty much the same stuff as Steve. So not as exciting as I thought at first, because I looked at Alan's page and I saw all the Munster stuff, and I'm like, oh wait, Alan Burns has worked on everything, or has been attached to everything, I should say. This was directed by Peter Isaac, and this is his only Munsters Today episode as well. But his career is he was involved with The Love Boat. He's done Fantasy Island, Three's Company, Magnum PI, Vanishing America, which sounds cool, Full House, So again, another tenured TV, in and out of sitcoms. So, and of course, IMDb decides to let us down. There are 3 guests in this episode, but who's the only one listed? Oh, it's David Horowitz.
What you got against David Horowitz, man?
If you go to David Horowitz's page, guess what's not listed under his acting credits? This show.
Well, no, you have to look under him. Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes.
He's got Elf and Silver Spoons. That's his only acting.
All right, so you have to go to... I guess he doesn't have a self, does he? Never mind.
Oh, wait, wow, he does. They just... IMDb hid it.
Oh, yeah, it's right here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
boom.
Okay.
Self.
He was in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show?
Yes. Yeah, he's right there. The Munsters Today. 1 episode of The Munsters Today. So he will never, ever be back again.
Yeah. All right, so that just kind of turned into a rant about IMDb.
So is this the same David Horowitz that we still have today? Or is this... He's passed away, isn't he?
Yeah, he passed away 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. But if anyone knows the other 2 guests so that we can look them up, I would very much appreciate that. The lack of love for Munsters Today online is seriously starting to irritate me.
I'm surprised that they don't have these other people anywhere. Let's see.
No.
Because you're talking about the 2. Actually, there was
Serial.
3. There's 3 people that aren't named. The kid at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah. The boy he saves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you ready to dive into this?
Sure.
All right. Herman wakes up and heads down to get his newspaper. It isn't there yet, but the paperboy arrives at that moment to throw it at him because why not? um,
Wait.
He's not even out on the road either. He walks up to the front door just to whip it at her.
So did you talk about the title of this show, this episode?
No, I figure we'll get a hero ain't nothing but a cereal.
Yeah.
I figure we'll get to it gradually.
I mean, it's taken from a movie.
Oh, is it?
A hero ain't nothing but a sandwich from 1977.
Oh, yeah, of course.
About a student who becomes a heroin addict. Apparently. Okay. Holy shit. Maybe it wasn't taken from that. Do you think it fits?
No, it fits better than you think. We'll get into that. Yeah, Herman calls Jimmy over to tell him off or something. I don't know. We never find out because at that moment, a storm that is raging outside knocks a branch loose, and Herman pulls the kid inside so he doesn't get hit by the branch. Jimmy calls Herman a hero, and Herman, rather annoyed sounding, says, "It's no big deal." So I don't know if he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not," or "I'm still mad at you for hitting me with a newspaper." The kid is having none of that and runs off to tell the paper about it. It's going to be bigger than that UFO story, which kind of just reminded me of, oh yeah, Herman once talked to a Martian.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that same thing too.
If you hear some yelling, my wife is yelling at the cat.
I thought she was yelling at you. Like,
no.
Hey, shut up. No one wants to hear you.
Not yet. So Herman's like, oh, I thought Grandpa stayed in last night. But at least they don't need to hire a tree trimmer now. So,
a UFO. Oh, I thought Grandpa stayed in last night, he says.
I think people know what bat is.
Well, that's if Grandpa's flying around as a bat.
Yeah, well, he could levitate. We've never seen it, but we saw Lily do it in the previous show, so he might have that power.
Didn't we see him fly through the roof ceiling?
Oh, he did, didn't he? He took off like Superman. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Herman walks inside and says good morning to everyone. Spot is back, but still unseen. Grandpa and Lily are at the table with their napkin holder.
I got our guests. I got our guests.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, tell us.
Richard Stephen Horowitz, of course. Let's see here. John Shook, Howard Morton, Jason Marsden, Lee Merriweather. Apparently Jonathan Brandis is the kid, I'm assuming. The guy, he was from like Sequest and stuff like that. I think that's Jonathan Brandis.
I don't think that's the kid Herman saves.
It says the Munsters Today. He plays. Oh, nope. This is a whole nother season. Never mind.
Yeah, all right.
Why is it under this episode on this website? Wow, they were really screwed up.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Anyways, moving forward. Herman walks into this meal or whatever.
Have you noticed their napkin holder yet?
Is that what that's what I wrote. I said, what is this hand statue on the table?
That's the napkin holder.
I was like, what the heck is that? Yeah. So I was trying to figure what that was. I was like, what is this here?
Yeah, Lily's like, hey, did you see anything interesting in the paper? Like, how? He just grabbed it. But no, he was saving someone's life. And Grandpa warns him that the parlor could fire him if he keeps that up. It's bad for business.
He's like, Herman, you work at a funeral parlor. Keep that up and you could get fired.
Yeah. Lily's like, well, tell me all about it. And once again, he's like, nah, it's no big deal. Seriously, leave me alone.
If people, we should create like a what are those things that they do? Not Indiegogo, but like a crowdfunding thing. We should create a crowdfunding thing to raise some money to have all these episodes transcribed so that we can give the scripts out.
I would like that just so I could have the name for some of these characters. So many times I'm just like, you'll hear it coming up, Cereal Dude and Lady representing the company.
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah, after Herman's like, no big deal, we get a little cut to the rest of the family staring at a headline, which, boy, they got this out there quick. Local man a hero. Other articles I can read are man arraigned for stolen check cases and boards waiving hearing for 2 university TE. So I don't know if it's teenagers or what, but I did actually find something. In 1988, I found a case of disappearing checks in the New York Times. Detective Gregory Dans was investigating for the Chicago police. The article wouldn't name the suspect as the investigation was still ongoing. Didn't find a resolution of that. So, but they could be referencing that in this.
In it.
Yeah. Don't look into that detective, by the way. He has a lot of complaints against him. So the family greet and pamper Herman, except for Grandpa. They all start singing for "He's a Jolly Good Fellow," which Herman doesn't know why, but joins in anyway. Lily begins singing
it's
loudly.
funny because I wrote down my notes here about this whole interaction in the original series. In the original series, when Herman said that he did something like saving someone, they never believed him. It seems like they kind of believe him when he says that he saved this kid here, but then they don't actually recognize it until they see him being recognized for it by name. Because usually back in the original series, he was never mentioned by name in a newspaper. It was always man captures criminal or whatever, like when he was in the park and caught the one guy.
Still seeking who anonymous vigilante is or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, why don't you come forward and collect that money? No.
So in this one, they still don't believe him necessarily to praise point until he's actually recognized for it.
That's a really good point. Because, I mean, we had the whole season 1 of the original show finale with Galen.
Yeah.
They thought Galen was a make-believe child. That Herman was just late coming home. Oops, bumped the mic. Sorry about that. So everyone's singing except for Grandpa. Lily begins singing loudly in Grandpa's face until he joins in, which I thought was great. I really enjoy the fact that, like, in the original show, Lily sided with her dad on almost everything. In this show, she has sided with Herman on damn near everything, I believe.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah. So it's really nice to see that.
Even if you know your spouse is 100% in the wrong, you should side with them in front of other people. When no one else is around, that's when you go, babe, you're wrong. You're fucking wrong. But I love you, and I'm never going to put you down in front of other people. That's how it should be.
Yeah, it should. So at this point, Herman finally gets his hands on the article and begins reading about, what Jimmy told them. And he gets excited about seeing his name. Lily says that she is proud. Eddie howls. And it starts to swing back to, the howling is swinging back to not enjoyable again. I'll be curious to see how many times this pendulum goes. Marilyn can't wait to tell the kids in her gymnastics class they will flip. Lily calls him a hero, but he says he would only do what any other green-blooded American would do. His blood is green now.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Green-blooded American. Why is his blood the same color of his skin?
It's no wonder they keep wanting to go to the same doctors. Everyone else is so freaked. No, this is normal for them.
I don't get the whole his blood being the same color of his skin though. It just does. Just like back, like when you see alien movies and the alien's blood is the same color as their skin. I'm like, our blood isn't. Our blood isn't. Whatever color our skin is.
Yeah. So
technically, it's blue, and then it turns red. Well, it looks blue.
With lack of oxygen, apparently blood can look dark blue, green, or even black at times. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's what they're insinuating, but sure.
I still like the line. I think it was an Eminem line. I don't remember, about how they cut you so fast that your blood spills blue. Cause you get it? Because it comes out so fast.
Okay. The singer. I was thinking the candy at first. I'm like, that is the most violent commercial I've ever heard
of. That's hilarious.
Like, when did they get mobster M&Ms?
Oh shit! Oh shit!
So now we get a shot of some lady and who I think is her assistant, but is actually a representative that we learn later on, are walking up to a house, and they are freaked out. Like, she's carrying a cereal box, and now the title is making sense.
Yeah.
They ring the doorbell, and Herman answers, scaring the both of them. But they ask if he's Herman, and he says in the flesh and neck bolts, which I'm sad you didn't get your neck bolts on.
I forgot them.
Yeah, this is a perfect joke for those.
Oh, hold on. They're right here.
Let's see. In the neck bolts. Then he invites the both of them inside, and the door closes by itself, causing them to both. They jump again before finally getting on with the reason they're there.
Yeah.
And they handle marketing for licorice puff cereal.
My neck bolts only work for the people who watch the video, Tivis. Come on.
Well, go check out our videos.
See our pretty ugly faces on YouTube at TheMunsterCast.
So, yeah, this is licorice puff cereal. Like, okay, that sounds gross, but sure. You know what? Cinnamon Toast Crunch doesn't sound that appetizing either, but it's probably my favorite cereal. So, the owl makes a noise at them, and the guy freaks out again. Herman shakes his hand and nearly pulverizes it. Then we cut to them finally giving the pitch about having him be the face of the cereal. Marilyn comes in jogging in place, saying the box is more nutritional than the cereal itself, which is great. I love Marilyn in this episode. She doesn't get a lot to do, but when she does join in, I thought for a second Myke was frozen, but he's just not moving.
Moving the stroke.
Yeah. Lily is hesitant about this, and the guy gives them his card and says, "Look, I'm going to let you discuss it, and I'm going to call you guys in like half an hour to see what you think." So you gave them your card so you can call the family. What? But, before leaving, they want to remind him that every child in the USA are counting on him. And then they do some kind of weird gimmick dance thing. And the door opens automatically for them. And this time he is impressed by this before the door shuts in his face. Which, yeah. I mean, now that he's used to the family, he's like, "Oh, this is cool." Slam.
I wish that we would have gotten the cereal. Like in the real world.
Yeah. Oh, that's something they could have done for marketing for the movie last year.
Well, they have like crumble creatures. And they did Munster cereal back in the 60s, I think it was. And we have like Boo Berry and all that shit.
Yeah, which that's going to come up later. It's funny you say that. Herman has to do it for the kids. Marilyn jogs back in saying they need to eat over 400 bowls to get a daily supply of vitamins. Like, she really...
the cereal is horribly it's not healthy whatsoever.
No.
It's like taking a bag of sugar and just pouring it into a bowl and putting milk on it.
Not just sugar, as we'll learn throughout Marilyn's interruptions.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So Lily now stands up, really concerned, saying there's more nutrition in a bowl of steel wool. Grandpa says nutrition's overrated. He's had his fill for 3 centuries. This is Herman's golden opportunity for cash. Herman begins jumping around, singing that they will be rich while holding on to Grandpa and Lily's shoulders, causing them at least to be uncomfortable, somehow managing to hold him up.
So at first when I was watching this, I got the impression that Grandpa was super jelly over Herman. Did you get that impression before while the cereal guy was there?
Maybe at first, and then he kind of gets this. You are my golden goose.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah. I'm gonna be your manager and fuck you over.
What was was it last episode? No, it was a couple of I don't know if maybe it was this episode. I don't know. I'll bring it up before we go.
What's that?
Something about Grandpa turned Herman into the mint. Was that this episode?
I don't recall.
Well, we'll find out as I go through my notes.
That's not in my note. You do more detailed people. Tivis does this show. I'm only here for entertainment purposes.
No, your thoughts and views are invaluable.
I come on unprepared with like a few notes written down in my fucking notes.
I'm looking at my notes right now. I'm on page 2 of 4.
See? You sit down and you like watch this probably 4 times and like,
no, I watch it over the course of an hour, so I don't. Yeah, I do rewind often. I make sure I don't miss anything.
So if anyone ever wants to poach Tivis because they want to do a podcast, so I'm just saying, you know, it makes it a lot easier. So I look better.
They couldn't pay me enough. So the phone rings and Grandpa snatches it up. Herman's like, why are you taking this clearly for me? But Grandpa asks him to be reasonable. You go answer the door. I'll answer the phone. So Herman begins walking towards the door. He's like, wait, there's no one at the door. And Grandpa's like, hello.
Hello, Governor.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we don't know what's being said at first. All we get is Grandpa yelling what repeatedly into the phone and then saying that's not good enough. He then puts the receiver so Herman and us can hear it, you know, as the viewer.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy says that there isn't much up front, but for every box sold, you will get a cut. It's what's called a backhand deal. I can't help but feel that that is a sneaky joke.
It has to.
Have you ever had any backhand deals? Mike, and be careful answering this because I know you.
I mean, all right, wait. I don't understand the phrase the backhand deal. How about that? Let me just say that. So what do you think it means?
I think it means they're screwing him and they know they're screwing him.
Okay.
Unless he says back end and I misheard, but I swear he said backhand.
Back end deals would make more sense than backhand.
Yeah.
Especially for the
and I listened to him say it like 3 times, and every time I heard backhand. So, but my hearing isn't the best. So Grandpa agrees.
Was that your wife saying yes?
I don't know. I think that was the cat, honestly. Grandpa agrees, but the guy reassures them, saying they will be good. They will be going to the bank twice a day once this kicks off. And at that, Herman begins jumping up and down and strangling Grandpa. And Grandpa tells the man he may have a hard time selling this to his client as he's being choked and hangs up. He's like, I'm gonna have to talk to him.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, dog.
The two of them then dance around at the thought of all that money. It's nice to see Grandpa return to his roots of being money hungry.
Greedy grandpa. Greedy grandpa.
So now we're at the table. The family's enjoying the cereal for breakfast. Eddie flings some at the Raven's door. He pops out, says something I didn't quite catch. Did you?
For Eddie, I did not know.
Yeah,
At
whatever
least I
the
didn't write
Raven
it
says
down.
to him. Yeah. So Herman tells him, stop playing with your food. And Eddie's like, can I just have cream of leeches instead? Which, oh God. Herman says they give they gave me a full year supply, and they open up the cabinet, and he's like, Herman's like, they look delicious but smell terrible.
So are the cream of leeches? Are the leeches alive?
I thought the same thing when I wrote that.
Because if they're alive, that cannot be good for you whatsoever. Unless you have a lot of blood clots.
Unless you chew them.
I mean, if he has a lot of blood clots, it works. That would be something that's good for a vampire, then, I guess, because then it would help with, if they get blood stuck in
Knowing what I know about this family, I just have a feeling that they're alive. It's like, what is the was it escargot? Don't you eat live snails?
Yeah, but the snails aren't sucking your body and leeching,
Well, as long as
literally
you chew
leeching
them, they
off
won't
of you.
leech.
Oh, what's the fun in that, Tivis?
All right, so Spot roars, and Herman says, "Look, see,
swallow
Spot,
that thing whole."
Spot loves it." Eddie then gets up and says, "Spot can have mine then." Lily just stares at the food, saying she's not hungry. Marilyn straight up says no. She says the most nutritious ingredient is propylene chloride, which I had to look this up.
Yeah.
I found a study done on rats that the effects of butane chloride, which is another term for it, in rats for utero, it causes basically pregnant rats to develop tumors.
Just pregnant ones, though?
Yeah, it's real bad.
It's messed up, bro.
I couldn't exactly find what this is used for, but I found a place where you can order some. It's got acute toxic and environmental hazard warning labels on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
stuff. That's the stuff that made the Joker. An Acme chemical.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is used for, but I shudder to think because, yeah. Grandpa says he will only eat 10% of the food because that's the same as his agent fee. Marilyn starts asking Herman how he can sell this stuff when its only ingredients, its ingredients are used to make flea collars glow in the dark, which I tried looking for that as well, and I could not find any evidence.
It would just be the normal glow in the dark stuff.
Yeah.
From like those snap bracelets.
Yeah.
It would be the same type of thing like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So Grandpa says, as his client and the new face of heroism in America and the person who will pay for my new lab, Herman has a responsibility. He must eat it. Herman says with pleasure, takes a big spoonful, and then runs around the room like a madman before passing out into his bowl. Yeah.
A chemical called diphenyl oxalate.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't find the chloride stuff in that, so. But this is where I think they were getting the similarities with that movie you found, where they're injecting themselves with heroin. They don't know what they're injecting themselves in with this show, this episode.
I guess, yeah.
Um,
This is a glow-in-the-dark collar for a lady. Now the dog.
I never know where you're going to end up with these, and it's always fantastic.
It was like this sci-fi outfit, but then she had a glow-in-the-dark collar on. And they were selling it for $15. And it was like the perfect like Munster green. And I'm like, I want this for my wife. She would kill me.
Yeah.
She's too old for that
ain't
stuff.
Bad.
No, 15 ain't bad at all.
Yeah.
Especially for the bedroom, man. Come on.
I knew you were going to go there. I tried to stop it and I couldn't.
That's what she said.
I love kids listen to this.
You think they don't hear worse in person?
I shudder to imagine. So now we get a little I think there was a commercial break or something, but we cut to Grandpa pleading with Herman not to break the contract. Mm-hmm. Grandpa tells him it's the biggest deal of your life. Herman says money isn't everything.
Yeah. And his grandpa doesn't call him stupid like Al Lewis's grandpa would, huh?
Yeah, it's true. Well, sometimes he does it in roundabout ways often. So grandpa's like, look, if he lived by that philosophy, he wouldn't be a good agent, which is it's true.
Yeah.
Herman tells him, too bad, his mind is made up, and when it's made up, it's made up.
Yeah.
They then hear a faint roar from the top of the house. What'd you find now?
Nothing. Go on. Dude,
you found something.
I was just thinking of something because we brought up Al Lewis, Grandpa, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It would have been so awesome to have seen Fred Gwynn, because I believe he was still around. Yeah, he was still around.
Yeah, it was a couple more years before he tragically passed.
If they would have just got him for one episode to be Herman's,
I was thinking that too.
Herman's older brother.
Oh, bring back Charlie.
Bring back Charlie.
Oh, that would have been great.
And it would and it would have worked because he would be older because of the 20-year difference.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been fantastic.
I need
to go back in time and redo these shows.
I was thinking, I'm like, how great would it be to have cameos of that original crew in this? But
yeah, which I don't think they did until they came back for that the movie
90s
in the 90s,
yeah.
And then the guy
that
who
was
played,
post Fred's passing.
Yeah, I do know, spoilers, the guy who played Grandpa in the Christmas movie is in this show sometime.
Oh yeah, I think I read that when we did the casting for that, the cast list.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be cool to see.
I know who he plays, but I won't say.
All right.
I appreciate that, Mike.
So Lily rushes out to feed Spot, but the cabinet is empty. If they don't get more licorice puffs, they don't know what the hell will do. Then some of the ceiling falls down as Spot has a tantrum outside, presumably, and the most fantastic thing happens. His tail comes through the ceiling, a physical representation of Spot at last. I'm so happy. It was so it's not a lot, and it probably never see it again. But I'm so happy because we always got his tail all the time in the classic show. We haven't seen his head once under the stairs. I hope that changes eventually, but I'm just glad to see the tail returns.
That means that we're gradually gonna get more, like we did in the original.
So. I really hope so.
Yeah.
Herman says the last time Spot ate this much sugar, it took them 2 days to get him off the roof. So for 2 days, the neighbors were terrified by a dragon on their
roof. He was a gargoyle, man. He was a gargoyle.
Grandpa then pleads Lily to not let Herman break his contract. It could lead to an acting career.
Yeah. He's already had one, though.
He has, yeah. And he was just famous from being in a band with Grandpa. So he turns around to address Herman again, not realizing, because Herman went to go check out the hole in the roof and then walked up behind Grandpa. And I don't know if this was part of the script. He was ad-libbing, or he actually got scared by, walking up behind him like that. But he jumps. He's like, the mummy and the wolfman are still living off their royalties, which, okay, for those of you who don't know, there are, I didn't save this, but, oh no, I wrote it down instead. He has to be referencing the forgotten 2 members of the Munster cereal bunch, Fruit Brute and Fruity Yummy Mummy. So for those who don't know, it was Count Chocula, Frankenberry, Boo Berry, and then these other 2 cereals.
Yeah.
And Brute Berry was actually brought back with his name. He was renamed, or Fruit Brute, sorry. They changed it from the spelling of fruit to Frute, and that was in, I think, 2019. However, Yummy Mummy has not returned in quite some time, and it's really sad. Normally, you find these cereals, at least in America, around Halloween. Count Chocula sold year-round.
Yummy Mummy.
Fruity Yummy Mummy.
Fruity Yummy Mummy.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait. It was last year, 2022, they actually brought back Fruit Brute, but not the Mummy, which is a shame. But yeah,
go on.
Well, I was just finding that the cereal monsters they've always been fascinating to me too, for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Which it's kind of funny that you bring that up, because, I had an incident in my house.
Yes, I was hoping you would do this. I was watching this and I'm like, oh, how perfect. How fortuitous.
And so I got done with doing my bathroom remodel, and then all of a sudden I saw this like crease in the ceiling, and I went up to just poke it, and my hand went straight through it. And people are like, what the fuck does this have to do with cereal? Well, I didn't have anything else to cover the hole with, so I used this image here, which, if you are watching the video, is the Boo Berry, Count Chocula, Frankenberry.
Fruit Brute is actually in it.
Fruit Brute, yep.
Is the Mummy there?
He was
covered
not,
by the tape?
No. He was not there. Not that I had seen in there, because it was like a box of like each individual brand of that cereal and stuff. So that's what I used to cover the hole up until for probably 2 weeks. I think it was there for 2 weeks because there was a leak and yeah, and it was the stupidest, easiest leak to fix too, which was ridiculous.
And for audio listeners, if you want to see his patch job, you can find it in our YouTube video.
Yep. Boom. Monster cereal. Yeah, that was perfect lineup with the show and doing that. So that's pretty cool.
I wanted to say it, but
all right, so where are we at here?
Herman asked Lily what her opinion is. And Lily sides with Herman again, saying they don't need the extra money. But the doorbell rings at that moment, and Lily goes to answer it, which is weird because I thought Grandpa told Herman to answer the doors, but whatever. The cereal guy is back, and
Door answers itself.
Yeah, is there with a check and hands it to Lily and just walks right into the house, not even addressing her. He says sales are through the roof. Then notices Spot's tail gets momentarily distracted because why? How could you not? Until Lily asks, people are actually buying that cereal. And the guy's like, oh yeah. By the time he finishes, Herman's face will be the most recognizable face in America. Herman loves this and begins jumping for joy.
The thing is, it was still, they were still deciding whether or not he was going to do this, weren't they?
Well, it sounds, no, he already signed a contract because they got a year's worth of supply, and Grandpa's pleading with him not to break it.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they show the boxes. Dude, it would be awesome to find some of these boxes of cereal that they use for the show.
Yeah,
I highly doubt any of them exist anymore. But if they do, or if you guys know anyone that has one of these cereal boxes with Herman Munster's face on it, let us
hook us up.
Send a photo to us or something. Send us an eBay link if you want it. I'm not paying you more than like $10 though. So.
Mike's kind of cheap.
I am stupid cheap. I have to pay for all these damn toys, damn it. And movies.
So we have a scene transition where we leave Herman jumping up and down, causing the camera to shake. The transition is outside the house and the camera is still shaking. So are we getting like outside the house right after that scene?
I think that's what it was supposed to be.
Okay, because normally it feels like we're outside the house getting ready to zoom in on what's happening now.
Right.
So Grandpa's giving this presentation to Lily and Herman and Marilyn, who is there on a stationary bike. Grandpa wants to pitch disposable guillotines to Gillette. Which maybe, I don't...
I feel like that's like a one-time use.
Yeah. Eddie
interrupts. And are they using them on themselves?
I don't know, because I mean, no one uses the guillotine anymore. But also, it is the most, well, because I mean, unfortunately, we've seen from the Saudis, they mostly use swords. But
what do you mean they don't use guillotines anymore? Freaking don't the magicians still use guillotines? Guillotines? Isn't it guillotines? Not
guillotines. That's it. Guillotines.
Guillotine.
Yeah. That is my strange mix of accents coming together there. Yeah, guillotines. But it is an incredibly corporate, 80s idea. Let's make this thing that they have to replace repeatedly, which is something that has invaded the marketplace all around the world, unfortunately. They don't make things to last on purpose. They are purposely ripping us off.
That's why they have monthly subscriptions now.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's the new age version of it. But seriously, there are light bulbs out there that will last entire lifetimes, and they purposely don't sell it to us because they want ones that burn out so we buy more, which I understand you have to make a profit, but you could use those in sell them to libraries and stuff. These places that could use that kind of things, But anyway.
Make a profit, you just charge more for one bulb.
Give me $1 million per bulb.
I mean,
yeah.
Put us on a payment plan, and they're still getting the money gradually.
So Eddie interrupts, saying all the kids at school are eating to get as big as eating the cereal to get as big as strong as his dad. And Marilyn's like, if they keep eating, they won't even grow up at all. Eddie tells her to stuff it with her health kick, and the two of them bicker until the family joins in, and then the phone rings. Eddie runs over answering it. It's David Horowitz. No one hears, so he yells. When they all turn around to look at him, he again repeats himself calmly, it's David Horowitz. Lily can't believe it, and Grandpa says, this is perfect. He then takes the phone and puts on what I am to assume is his agent voice. So that night in the lab, and it's a night transition, I might add, I believe our first one. Normally when we go to the lab, it's still during the day.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. So Eddie and Grandpa are down there. Grandpa tells him all his years of turning junk into gold are paying off. He just turned Herman into the U.S. Mint. It is this episode. Okay. So Grandpa asks Eddie if he's excited to be a rich guy's son. Eddie can't wait to drive to school in a turbocharged hot red hearse. Hot red?
Never drive a red car.
Oh, yeah, no, statistically, you get pulled over so much.
So much more. Especially hot red or a hot rod red car, or like a Porsche red, or like a Mustang in a red. Maybe a red minivan, you might not get pulled over as much, but who knows?
Yeah. So Grandpa's like, hey, live by my motto. Working hard is not as good as hardly working. So true. So Herman comes down to get Eddie for Lily. Grandpa decides to go pick up a magazine and bats off. I'm going to use that term from now on. Myke is shaking his head in disbelief. This is what you do. I bring the puns.
I'm the dad. I'll be taking my jokes, bro.
So he says he can't wait to hire help to do all his chores once Herman is rolling in the big bucks. This is Eddie, by the way. Herman asks why Eddie thinks people will do his chores just because you pay them. And Eddie's like, sure. Money, or Eddie says anyone will do work for money. And Herman wants to know where he got that idea. And Eddie just says, I learned it from you. From selling that terrible cereal just for cash. Then he repeats Grandpa's saying, you know, whatever the working hard thing, does the Dracula arm thing and zooms off up the stairs. Herman is left realizing he's teaching a terrible lesson to his kid. And then waves at the fish he has been holding this whole time for some reason that I did not realize until just that moment.
So so we're about to go to the David Horowitz show, right?
Yep.
So they get a call to come on to the David Horowitz show.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you be worried if you knew what the David Horowitz show was?
Well, someone certainly is.
To come on there with your product. So for people who don't know what the David Horowitz show was, is basically like he took on big businesses and shit like that. He would tell, what consumers and stuff to, be more cognitive of what you're buying, watch out for scams. He'd even show scams and stuff for how businesses pulled them off.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we will never get a show like it again because advertisers will shut that down.
Well, yeah, because he also went against advertising claims too, which he does in this.
Yeah, he does.
So my first thought would be like, yeah, no, I'm not coming on your show, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, we're on the set of Fight Back with David Horowitz now. He's got a guest on talking about a trash compactor. I have no idea what this guy is saying. Lily asks if Herman is sure he wants to go on watching David grill this dude. She's like, I can't understand. I can't understand what this guy is saying. This entire segment, I should say.
Yeah.
Grandpa asks for him. He's like, or answers for him saying, of course he's sure. Then the cereal rep shows up yelling at them that this will kill their campaign. If they go through with it, Grandpa is a dead agent. And Grandpa just stares at him. Yeah, I am. David calls the trash compactor. He's like, hey, bring over the trash compactor now. And the unintelligible guy is like talking about it. And then David's like, this is such a piece of POS, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guy, like, I don't know if this was planned or not, but he comes up to David, like, grabs his shirt, and the dude looks scared. Like, he spikes the camera. Like, is this guy going off script now? But you know, this is a reality show anyway, so David's allowed to spike the camera anytime he wants. He then calls over the Munsters. He's like, hey, why don't we show this POS trash compactor some POS cereal? So he's like, Herman, get out here. The weird guy makes a noise staring at Herman and was like, oh. I don't know who this guy is.
You can't understand what the guy said. I think they purposely made it so you don't hear him.
No, I don't know what's up with him or who he is, but I love it.
I think they're trying to make fun of like the kind of people that David would
deal with
or trash on in his show, kind of like, you know, they're just a bunch of money hungry grubbing scam artists who don't know how to interact, and bunch of random shit that no one understands what they're saying. They do it to confuse you and make you feel stupid so you buy their product. Dude, that's true. Dude, I should start the Fight Back with David Horowitz show.
Honestly, someone should. You'd be great. Do it online. You could totally turn it into an internet show. What are you going to do? You can't shut me down. They still could, but
advertisers would be like, well, YouTube, yeah, we're gonna
you'd be demonetized and shunned, and
no, YouTube would kick you off instantly.
Yeah. Bet. Well, no, I don't think they would do that. They would just like make it so no one can see your stuff.
They'd bury you.
Yeah. Oh, totally. That's what they do all the time.
You got to find, you just host your own videos, start your own website, get it the groundwork laid out on a social media platform, and then boom, everyone's back to your website. Remember that, people, TheMunsterCast.com.
So David asks Herman to help the compactor with the strength he gets from eating this cereal. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I have watching this cereal. That doesn't make sense. Herman goes over to the thing. It just crushes it into a ball. And the poor guy watches as his creation is gone with real sadness on his face. Herman hands him the ball, and the guy nearly drops it as it's so heavy and walks up the stage. I felt so bad for him in that instant. David then starts grilling Herman. Does he really expect him to believe Herman got so strong from sugar, salt, MSG, and enough preservatives to kill a mammoth? Herman's like, hey, you forgot fresh air and bean sprouts.
Basically, everything he mentioned for what's in that cereal is what I grew up eating, and that was fine.
Yeah, sadly. The cereal dude is frantically trying to tell Herman to shut up offset. And David says there are millions watching who want to know the truth. Herman then takes out a prepared statement that Grandpa gave him, which just unrolls into several pages. It's like a scroll.
Yeah.
He then starts reading, but he looks at his family. Lily and Marilyn are shaking their heads. Eddie just simply looks confused. Herman stops. He comes clean and stomps the box of cereal to smithereens. The cereal guy is so he starts yelling at Grandpa that they have ruined him. And Grandpa's like, hey, you don't like Herman? I got Stanley.
Yeah, he starts pitching Stanley for endorsements.
He's like, who's Stanley? My pet rat. He can whistle songs, eats anything, and always lies. The guy's just staring at him. He's like, here's my card.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say before we move along from the show, I thought it was a cool reminiscent moment seeing Herman on the David Horowitz show, because it kind of reminded me like when Fred Gwynn would go in character as Herman to like some of the talk shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. The Red Skeleton Hour and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff you can find on the Marineland DVD.
Yes. And Oh, geez. Yeah. So it reminded me of that stuff.
So yeah. So David congratulates Herman on his integrity. Having the ability to throw away money for morals is a rare thing. In fact, everything about Herman is rare.
Yeah.
He then shakes Herman's hand and nearly loses his own because Herman pulverizes it. The family all celebrate except Grandpa, who is back to looking mildly annoyed to being out of the house again.
Yeah.
So we get a small commercial break, come back for our final scene. It's after the show has concluded. David is continuing to praise Herman with the entire family now. Grandpa says integrity and loyalty run neck and neck with good nutrition in my family. David is disgusted by the lot of them and is like, okay. Grandpa now tries to recruit David as a client, but the family grab him and drag him away. And that's how we end the episode.
You need a good maid manager. Here you go. Like,
Yeah.
nope. Get away, Grandpa. Yeah. I'm looking here. The David Horowitz show was on from 1991 until unknown. IMDb sucks for this dude, man.
Oh, it's like there's some kind of mysterious gap in this age of television.
It says there's 582 episodes, but in 1 year. And that's it. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. There's only 352 days a year.
56.
56. Oh, there's 52 weeks a year. That's what it is.
Yeah.
356 days. 57 if it's a leap year, right? Or if
Yeah, it's 56.25.
Anyways.
So, final thoughts of this show. Why don't you go first this week?
It wasn't as good as last week's episode. I liked last week's better. I did, however, like the moral of this story, I guess, where Herman's learning a lesson again, because we haven't really seen a whole lot of that anyways. Within the, because we're 12 episodes in, we're now halfway through the first season, so we haven't seen a whole lot of that where it's like a lesson episode of like, oh yeah, you shouldn't do this, and it was perfect to bring on Horowitz to do that.
Yeah,
to have him there, because he's always trying to teach people about these scams that are going on, or to be careful of what you're doing, and there's always people being taken advantage of, and Herman was the one being taken advantage of. Yes, he was in the process of helping take advantage of all of the people out there who were buying the product, but he himself was also being taken advantage of and being pushed into this by his father-in-law, I guess. Moral of the story, don't listen to your father-in-law.
Yeah.
just push him aside. Tell him no more, bloodsucker.
Sounds personal. So yeah, I have to agree with everything you said. Except the father-in-law stuff. I don't mind mine. But
it's
yeah,
not what
no,
you tell me in text. I'm just
never say anything about mine.
I'm just messing with you. You're just bitching about your wife.
Now you're just trying to get me in trouble. But yeah, I agree with everything you said about this episode. I thought last week was more enjoyable, but I enjoyed the moral aspect of this and the added bonus of Spot getting physical representation. Finally, halfway through the first season, we see Spot.
See Spot run.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it was a cool one. It was a good one, man. It wasn't like the best. It wasn't like last week. Like last week, I was like really like, yes, I want more of this, bruh. So I can't wait till we get into another one, which unfortunately it's not going to be for another week or so, because next week, Tivis,
we have a guest.
We have a special guest interview for next week with event news that they're going to be bringing us that they have going on. So that they're going to be talking about. So definitely check that out next week, guys.
Little
What?
little spoiler. We've already recorded it, and it's a ton of fun. I can't. You guys have to
Yeah.
tune in.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really fun to talk with them about it. So definitely check that episode out, guys. Again, that's coming next Munster Monday. And yeah, we'll move forward from then. There may or may not be a week where we do not have an episode. Depending on what happens with our schedules at the moment, guys. Just want to give you guys a heads up that I will potentially not be available to record. So for at least
he's
a
fleeing
week
the
or
country.
two, I am leaving this country. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Just a little bit of housekeeping as well. Since we have recorded early again. Anyone who emails us, expect at this point in time at least a week's delay.
Yes. And do email us, people. Like the guest that we have coming on next week, great man, and he's been emailing us back and forth and stuff. So
and a couple more people that we're talking to get on have been frequent emailers. So
yes, frequent emailing us. So and real quick too, before we go, I forgot Patreon. Let me make sure, see what all new is over there for everybody. Because I have forgotten about the Patreon patrons. No new patrons as of this week. So we will move forward then. Again, guys, you can join a Patreon as patreon.com/TheMunsterCast, and you can find us over there. You can get access to our Discord by joining Nexter's Lester's next big investment tier, and that will get you Discord access, guys, and be able to watch along with us if you're not watching the Munsters Today already somewhere else.
If you can't do that, honestly, any like $1, everything helps pay for all this production and website hosting and RSS feed and stuff. It's not free to do this as a hobby.
I started filling out stuff for it. I was like, man, why do they keep taking so much money from me? Anyway, I was like, shit. But it's a hobby. It's an expensive hobby, but it's a hobby. Yeah. I mean, you do board games,
just
you know how expensive hobbies are.
Oh yeah. As I keep saying, it's a tip jar. Every little bit helps us if you like to support our show.
Yes. And we appreciate every little bit anyways. And even if you're just sharing us, commenting, letting people know about us, that all helps as well, guys.
Yeah. And I know I haven't been saying it in a while, but I am still promoting the show on Tumblr, Mastodon, and Hive on my personal account there. So yeah. Again, if you don't like Meta, Facebook and Instagram, and you don't like whatever is happening at Twitter this week, I don't know if you saw, but he painted the sign outside the building to spite his landlord now. Yeah, no, you can follow.
I don't pay attention to any of that crap.
He painted over the W, so it's now titters.
Wow. Okay. Also, guys, if you want to hear about us, we are going to hopefully on Friday this week, the 21st, have out a brand new episode of Operation Babel, where we will be celebrating. It's going to be 4 years of that show going on, and we were going to be talking about the Power Rangers special that drops.
I'm not sure how much of a crossover there is, but if you enjoy us, come join us.
Yes, if you enjoy us, and if you want to hear about Power Rangers and stuff, there's people out there that love both Munsters and Power Rangers. How can you not? And again, like we've said before, if you do like Munsters and the Power Rangers, why are you not watching Big Bad Beetleborgs? Big Bad Beetleborgs. Anyways, with that said, guys, Tivis, you got any final words for us today?
Vote on the Rondo Awards. I'm going to get nacho fries.
All right. That said, yes, do go vote. Vote Rondo Awards. Vote for the Munster Cast if you want. There's tons of other things out there. Vote. Get your votes in by the 23rd at midnight, guys. 23rd at midnight. And with that said, we will catch you next time as we take another stroll down 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. Or you can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart and the strength of your character.